Hello everyone! First off, if you clicked on this video, thank you very much, because I know this is not a video that most will click on because it has nothing to do with toys, Transformers, and whatnot. But in order to actually get to the part where it is about toys and Transformers, we actually have to go over exactly how we got there and what I was doing. So yeah, it's a vacation vlog. This is what I did while I was out of town. So just to get this out of the way. I went to visit my friend Matt out in Arizona. Matt is the one who is Monstrosity's vlog, the tokusatsu vlog here on YouTube. He did a video with me when he visited me about 6 years ago, and you'll see us doing a blind box blitz opening Gamera blind boxes. So he's been pestering me for years, to repay him for that visit. So until it was really just this year where my family responsibilities lightened up and my income increased. So I actually did have the opportunity to go and have the kind of trip I wanted to have. So yeah, that's how we ended up there. So this trip for me, keep in mind, I'd never get to travel ever. I went to Washington, D.C. as a kid for a middle school trip. And I went to, actually, why am I on this thread? Hi. I went to Washington, D.C. That was just a middle school trip. And then I went to Colorado. And that was a hurricane evacuation. So it's not like I really got to see the sights of Colorado. So instead, this was an actual vacation. I actually got to go around and see the sights and see what the place was like. I already blew it. But I've restarted this video like 4 times, so I don't really want to do this again. So we'll pop back. We'll go back to the other views eventually. But yeah, for me, just the sights alone are incredible. If you've never been to another environment before, please visit some place that is out of the norm for you. I know if you are out in the West, mountains in your view are not uncommon. It's a very common thing. For me, I'm in Florida, you know? I have swampland and beaches, and that is it. If you go north, if you drive north in Florida, especially here in Southwest Florida, on your left is ocean, on your right is Everglades, and that's it. It never changes. It is the same thing the entire trip. That is not true in Arizona. There's so many different binomes there. Matt's wife, Paige, actually told me that there's apparently like 7 binomes in the world, and Arizona has 5 of them, short of like wetlands and tundra. But as you can see here, not Florida. Like, this alone was just like, this is like one of the first things we did. Like, my first full day in Arizona was to go out to a ghost town, a former gold mine that was turned into basically a tourist trap with a bunch of recreated buildings set up and actual like gift shops and a restaurant that's done up like an old saloon. You know, it's actually a really fun place to visit. Yeah, so yeah, the views are beautiful. I love the views. I will never get tired of seeing the mountains. They are absolutely amazing. It's a great way to feel small, is to stare at a mountain. Super cool though. Here's the town itself. I wish I could remember like the name of it. But you know, it's out in Mesa, Arizona. It's not hard to find. You can see a lot of recreated scenery, looking really cool. They had a museum there, which was full of nice stuff. Apparently, it is common in Arizona to just run across Spanish conquistador armor, because when they were traveling here, or there rather, it would just get so hot they would shed their armor and just drop it off. So it's actually pretty common to find Spanish armor in Arizona. In a weird way, how this world works. But you can see all kinds of old items on that. So the mountain range in Mesa is called the Superstitions, and there's old legends of the Lost Dutchman gold mine that some people spent their whole lives, some people spent years looking for it. And it's interesting. The museums are dedicated to like the history of the Superstitions and the Lost Dutchman mine. So you find out that this person was trained by this person, who bought a map from this person, who was tracked by this person, etc., etc. Everyone trying to find this motherlode mine that to this day is lost and likely never existed. There was like authentic maps there were, and some were like super detailed, and then others were literally like 3 squiggly lines that represent mountains and an X. It's kind of amazing. But yeah, lots of historical artifacts. There's a ton of history out in that area. Like I said, yeah, a lot of just like, you know, a lot of just tourist trappy stuff. And I did some tourist trap purchases because I kind of love that kind of thing. Lots of little fun shops, but it's a really cool place to visit if you're in town. Yeah, and they do have like a lot of historical artifacts as well. Like I said, the area has a lot of history between Native Americans, the conquistadors, the Gold Rush, especially. And a lot of this is Gold Rush era. This is like an ancient. This is this was how they grinded up the rocks in order to get the actual like metals, the precious metals out. This was, I think, in New Mexico, and they disassembled it, transported it, and built it again in Arizona, all through volunteer work. And it's like this massive, colossal thing that's absolutely like epic to think that this is how they used to get gold out of things. You know, just a little train yard. We also, there's a few spots here that were also pretty famous. The desert in Arizona, of course, got used in a lot of films. There's this display that was actually in, this was actually in a different museum that's down the road, and that museum is more focused on, again, the history of the superstitions and the Native American artwork and relics, but also a lot of films were filmed there. Elvis as well. There's an old chapel there that a lot of films used for a set. And then they kind of dedicate a big section of it toward all the different stars that either were there or all the different movies that were filmed there, which is kind of cool. So I did a lot of photos of mountains because I just didn't get sick of mountains or desert. Mountains and desert, things I just never get to see, which is super, super cool. And just like beautiful landscapes to me. So, you know, we took a lot of rest stops in order to get some views like this. Really interesting stuff. Part of the road trip was to go out to California because I've never been. And our main goal on this was called a shop called Frank & Sons, which I believe is the biggest collectible toy store in the country. Could be wrong about that, but I've not found anything bigger. So, of course, I had to make the pilgrimage. So between going out to City of Industry, California in order to visit Frank & Sons, and then later Los Angeles, but also I had a layover in Minneapolis. This trip was both the farthest west and the farthest north I've ever been. Keep in mind, I came from very tiny towns my entire life. You know, the town I was born in was Yorktown, Indiana, and it was the kind of place where you were born, you grew up, and you moved out of your parents' home and moved into a house 5 minutes down the road. And that's so like the whole family is just in this little circle. Very few of us ever made it out of the state, let alone that town. Even fewer of us actually travel around and saw different things in the world. So I wanted to travel and see different things. So, California, here I come. And yeah, California looks a lot similar to Arizona when you first get into it, but it very quickly becomes something very different. This was actually fun. So along the way, like literally right on the same road, hang on if I get the name right. So these are the Cabazon dinosaurs. If you ever saw Pee-wee's Big Adventure, it's the dinosaurs that were in that movie. So you can see one was in the middle of getting repainted. And what was cool is this one just kind of like I believe just like a little like observation post or something. I can't remember. We didn't go into this one because you had to go through a whole thing you had to pay to get into this whole like roundabout in order to get into this one. But this one is a gift shop, and that one was really fun to go into. You go into the tail and go up steps into the body in order to do gift shop stuff. That was actually really cool. So, yeah, if you see it in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, these were just out in the middle of the desert, and you can see, like, there's a Burger King built there now. It's all been, the ground's been paved over, but the dinosaurs are still there, so it's all been industrialized, but the dinos are still there, and they're actually really cool to see. California, again, a very different landscape than what I normally used to. Just the rolling hills, the rolling green hills, and people like building hills in the side of the in the side of the mountain. I like can't imagine I can't imagine like this idea where your neighbors live above you. like uh like geographically, not like you're in an apartment. I mean, uh it's just a really fascinating area. If you've never been, if you're just like a small town boy like me, this is just mind blowing. Just super cool stuff to look at. And then like the LA skyline. I've never seen like the biggest city I've ever been in was Miami, and I can't even really say I was in there. We just kind of drove through it, and we were really kind of on the outskirts more than anything. But we wanted to visit little Tokyo while we were in California, so yeah, we walked the streets of LA, and I didn't get mugged. So that was great. Again, just super cool to be in one of the biggest cities in the country. Something that I've only seen in movies, and all of a sudden, like, I'm driving toward it, which was crazy to me. Yeah, we're just more houses built in the sides of mountains. I just like took photos while we were driving through. Yeah, this will make you feel small. Mountains this big will make you feel very, very tiny. Yeah, we're still in California, because you can tell, but because of the windmills. So we had another trip that we took, and this was up to Prescott. When I'm talking about Arizona, having all these different binomes, going from Mesa to Prescott. The path will take you through the mountains, and like actually going up into the mountains, curving around. You're going up and down left. It's a really cool drive, but you'll get to this point where you come to this, and it's just hard rock on both sides of you. Like you're going like you're in a valley, like you're in a little valley, or a little canyon rather. And when you crest over the top, and we actually reach the top of this, flat plains. Matt described it as like a loading section in a video game, and he is absolutely correct. That's what it felt like. So like 1 minute you find yourself driving through all these hills, next minute there's no hills. You're like on the plateau, and it's just plains. It's incredible. The sights were incredible. Look at how far. Like, that is an absolutely incredible sight if you're not used to things like that. Desert, and then you keep driving. You keep driving toward Prescott, and you hit these huge pine forests. So it's not just deserts and cactus. Arizona has amazing views for anyone. So yeah, this was really cool. Unfortunately, recent forest fire activity had this entire place shut down, so we did not get to go and walk the woods like we planned. Still incredible to see. Incredible to think that like during the course of like a 3 to 4 hour drive, we ended up well, not even that. I think it's like 2.5 hours. But to go through so many different, land types like all at once was super, super interesting. We ended up at the Museum of Natural History too, so taking a little bit more of Arizona before I left. And it's your standard museum fare. Nothing, cool stuff, and you get to learn about, more ancient past of the area, as well as, again, more Native American stuff as well. Just a lot of really cool fossil displays. I really like getting to look at old fossils. This one in particular. So a lot of these are cast reproduction fossils. This one, I believe, is legitimate. And this one is important to me because it is a piece of the only... It's the piece of a... God, that makes me look bad. It's a piece of an ankylosaurus fossil. And an ankylosaurus is my absolute favorite dinosaur ever. So to actually be in the presence of like the remains is like incredibly cool to me. They just found one in Arizona. Like a few years ago, they found this one in Arizona. It was the first time they actually were able to prove that the animal existed in the area. So, super cool to see. So, again, it's a lot of fossils. It's a lot of Native American art. It's a lot about learning about the area in general. These things flew. Look at that thing. That looks like something out of Monster Hunter, and it flew. And there, yeah, you get your art, you get your fashion, you get recreation dinosaurs. Just really, really neat stuff. I really liked learning about the place. This is a meteorite. This is like an actual meteorite that you could just like touch. So yeah, dinosaurs and space rocks. That was my museum visit. Like I said, it's an absolutely beautiful place. Like, really appreciate Matt for showing me around and like being a like huge sport about this. We hit up so many collector shops during this vacation, and he was so sick of toys by the end of it. But always a really good sport about it. Really do appreciate everything he did. Him and Paige. Paige, kind enough to let me into their home and let me freeload for a while, for lack of a better term. But wonderful people to be around. Really, really fun time. So, the vacation itself, just extremely rewarding experience. Never gonna forget it. We did get to do a few other cool things, like Little Tokyo. I wish I'd taken more pictures of. It's kind of overhyped. We just went through a mall area that looks kind of like a section of Tokyo. It's not like a whole section is like, oh, it looks like I'm in Japan. No, it's kind of just like pockets are like that. So like we went to a mall. It's mostly gift shops, Japanese import stuff. Anime Jungle is there. Some cool stuff. You'll see what left those particular stores momentarily. Did get to see my friend Garrett El Nej here on YouTube. Super talented performer, musical artist, Pokemon connoisseur, and spoofer. Parody artist. Pokemon parody artist. Let's call it that. But really talented guy you should go check out. Haven't seen him since for over 10 years. So really cool to be able to actually see him again. Meant to get in touch with John. Meant to hook up with John. Epic voice guy / the Honest Trailers voice. Haven't seen him since BotCon 2010. So unfortunately, that didn't happen. He booked work at the last minute, and when you're a voice actor, you gotta take work when it comes in. So completely understand there. So hopefully that's not the last chance I have to get to catch up with the guy. Made a couple of other friends out there. People I've talked to online a few times. People I've podcasted with that I've never actually gotten to really meet. So very, very thankful that I finally got to meet them too, and they were great too. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, because I've recorded this so many times and I forget something every single time. But the pictures definitely help keep a format going. But no, just wonderful experience. Now on the toy hunting side of everything, you're gonna have to wait for a few more videos for that. We're gonna do one whole video for Frank and Sons, and then we're gonna do a video about my haul for every other toy shop that I visited, because some of the weirdest and most interesting stuff I found in the most unexpected places. So that's the fun of going on trips like that. Just for stuff like touristy stuff that I did grab, we did have that's fossilized wood. So basically a rock now, but it's it is actual wood. See, we have typical things, arrowhead pendant, which is of course not a real arrowhead, but the coloration of the rock reminded me of the rocks we were going through in Arizona, so that was cool. Since it's a gold mining town, a lot of places were selling little vials of gold flake. This is this is a cheap little gold flake. I say cheap gold flake. This is the kind of gold flake you'd see at the kind that people with way too much money put on food to eat. That kind of gold flake. There's one place that lets you pan for gold and minerals and all that, or you could just buy stuff. So to spice up my next game of Monopoly, I got some brass dice. which I thought that was actually cool. Some solid copper dice. Let's see, other things I thought were cool. We got a little trilobite, little tiny fossil. Like fossils like these out in Arizona are pretty common, but I know this is like touristy stuff that they can just bring into. But I like that they're all kind of unique. So we also had this one that the museum had. Yes, all praise the helix. And I honestly, like, I picked this one. Like, they had whole piles of them. I picked that one because it's the only one that could stand up on its own. And then, I mean, I guess the most common thing when you're going to, like, gold mine related things is iron pyrite, which I have, like, artistic plans for. This is just, like, I know it's very tourist of me. The museum also had a gold panning thing, too, so we got a bunch of tiny little nuggets from there. It's not, we didn't so much as pan for gold as we did, like, sift through with our fingers, because that was easier. The gold panning doesn't really work because it's not natural dirt or anything. And then something a little bit more unique that I thought was cool. Like, that is actual, like, raw copper ore in its, like, natural state. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. It's basically just, like, crumbled up metal, but I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool. And let's see, more, like, weird stuff. So, like, yeah. That was from Cabazon. That was from the gift shop. They had a very few Ankylosaurus things, but I wanted to get some kind of Ankylosaurus from there. Got the t-shirt too. So I got the t-shirt, and the t-shirt just showed me just how bad my color balance is. I haven't quite gotten my cameras readjusted properly yet, obviously. And from the History Museum, another Ankylo. I'm happy to see that, I guess because Arizona found an Ankylosaurus, they've been getting a few more of these kind of things in, so that was cool. So, I think that's the long and short of the actual, like, vacation trip. Lots of sights, lots of history, lots of tourist trappy things, but that kind of thing is fun when you're not from the general area. So, thank you guys for watching. If you actually did watch this, because I know it's basically just me showing you a slideshow of my vacation, which is like the most boring thing ever. But for those who are interested, I'm glad you stuck through it. And this does mean that with this out of the way, I can actually get to the fun stuff. Like I said, we're doing a video that's just Frankensons and my huge epic haul, like the biggest haul for one store I've ever had. I've gone to cons where I didn't get this much stuff. And then we're doing a second haul video for all the little shops that I hit along the way in Phoenix, in Mesa, and in LA even. So thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for all that. Actual toy content on the way. Hope to see you there. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.